Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Ed Talk Campus Care. Today, we are coming up with another round of GD, which is a group discussion, and we are here with us with the topic: Do you think cell phones should be allowed in schools? And I, Sakshi, will be the host for tonight for this evening. And we have with us Sushma ma'am, who's from who is Dean Activities, Unison World School, Dehradun, who is going to evaluate everybody's performance. And to start off with this, we have to understand what is the importance of cell phones. So I would want anybody from you to start off with the session.
Good evening to all. The question raised is, what is the significance of cell phones? I believe that cell phones have an integral part in all of our lives because it is the easiest way to access the internet. And in this COVID pandemic, it had been a great and it had been a very effective way to it had been a very great tool for e-learning. It was a very good tool for e-learning, which more or less created a new exposure for all students and teachers as well.
Ma'am, I'd like to add to this and say that during the COVID times, we experienced a lot of problems. So we started online classes, which helped, and now everyone's gotten comfortable in using the mobile phone. So it's actually easier to move towards this in schools currently. So
Anybody else would like to add on to whatever these two guys have started off with? We have a lot of people to, comment and discuss and put across your viewpoints. And whosoever is coming, I would like to tell them that please introduce yourself so that even we understand who's talking and who is asking about what all things.
Good evening, ma'am. I'm Anushka of DAV Public School, and I would also like to add on this that mobile phones were becoming an important part of our life. We are usually using it everywhere where we can, and whether it is library, cafe, washrooms, we always were addicted to mobile phones. And I think that in school it is also an important part. It will become an important part because in today's scenario we are not taking mobile phones in schools, and in many schools it is taken as why you are taking these to schools and why you use them. But I think that they can be a medium of learning. As computers, teachers can also taught it about the new technologies which are coming through mobile phones and make the students about their bad and good effects. And in this way, the mobile phones can be a better means of communication for us. And during school hours and after school, there are many students who have to go alone and have to attend extra classes due to any circumstances. Then they need to inform their parents, and it is not always possible to take to call the teacher or take their phone and to contact or go to the reception. So I think that mobile phone should be allowed in school because it is an important in today's time.
Thank you, Anushka, for putting across your thoughts. Do we have anybody else?
Yes, I actually wanted to add to this that now that the pandemic has ended, basically, like e-learning had its time, but now it's over. So there may be a chance that mobiles in the educational sector, it might lose its importance. I believe that if schools combine with and start using the electronic devices to a proper to its full potential, we can bring the exposure that basic schools have to a very high level. I believe that in my personal experience, I see that teachers, they've learned a lot about different apps, and basically, for example, Google Earth. I think most of you might be familiar with that. Teachers have used that application and shown students natural reliefs, and historical monuments that may or may not have been shown had e-learning not been adopted. Moreover, uh, uh, students are more like they're more comfortable with their personal devices, and so they should be allowed not only phones but laptops as well to bring to school, maybe like once a week or so, to bring for various competitions, to research for various competitions like Model United Nations, Bal Vigyans, and they can also be used for school organized clubs like audiovisual club, the social services, and robotics club. And this also brings many concerns regarding the distractions it may cause, because they were originally prohibited from bringing to school because of because of it being distraction. So I believe that they can be deposited with the class teachers and taken only when needed. Like electronic devices can give students an entirely different level of exposure that schools alone may just not be able to give.
All right, Harshit, thank you so much for putting across your views. Do we have anybody else who would like to, talk about how important is it to have cell phones in school and whether it should be allowed or not?
Ma'am, I am Satyam of DA Public School. I want to add that in the school is the burden for the teachers. If kids are allowed cell phones in the school, in their classrooms, they may be tempted to use text to their friends or cheat up the answers by looking them on the internet. And it creates a stressful situations for the teachers in the classroom.
All right.
If I may add to that, I might say that, like I said, mobile phones are in fact a distraction. I will not disagree with that. But teachers can make sure to to have the students deposit the phones with them. Like that's not really that's big of a step that they can't do to make students start, like as I said about the exposure. It gives learning a entirely different level.
All right, Harshit. So do we have Arnav? Would you like to say anything?
Yes, ma'am. Also, one more thing I wanted to add that having a mobile phone gives a sense of safety to our parents because they can always track us. They can call us if anything happens, or we can call them if something happened in school or anything. That's one thing about safety, and yeah, it helps this parents to know that he's okay, and if we are going to tuitions and we need to inform, so that's also a good thing. Other is students always have an access for information. They don't have to go through the libraries to find any sort of information they need. Also, if we forgot to get a textbooks, like many of us have done, we can use the mobile phones for the PDF, and yeah, it just makes it easier sometimes.
All right, Arnav. Yes, Sandhya, you want to add something? You want to say something?
Yes, ma'am. Good evening to all. I'm Sandhya from Nandha City School. And on addressing the topic that should mobile phone should be allowed for the schools, my view can be at two areas. So for dealing any questions, I used to create a two spaces. Like one is merits. So if I hang around merits, I would say one form is that it it provides protection, security, and safety for the children, and it gives an opportunity for the children to learn. So as compared to the merits, if I take up demerits, there are so many things that I can hang around. Like it deals with online safety, cyber security, cyberbullying, and other social media apps which distract the children. So distraction is another point that I want to come across. So distraction in the sense like if you get small notification from any app or any of the things, messages from your cell phones or mobile phones, it not only disturbs one children in a class, it disturbs the entire class, including the teacher. So then coming up with the addiction. So addiction to the mobile phones after pandemic, we are coming across with that. So the global report I have heard one time. So it says that 75% of the students is using mobile phones for an hour every day. So what this says that for an hour after their school hours when they are using all these things, if we give approximately for the school hours 8 hours, if we give them cell phones to the schools, so their educational system or progress of their reports will also go in way. So my opinion is that as compared to the merits, demerits was literally high. So I support that the mobile phones can be used at homes, as we have already saw in the pandemic situation, was similar to the schools only. But there are so many demerits, I hope. So I hang around that mobile phones can be avoided at the schools, and that's it.
Thank you so much, Sandhya, for putting across your thoughts rightly and very well put across. May I have anybody else? Navya, would you like to speak something about it?
Mama, I'd like to say something.
Okay, Vanshika.
Vanshika.
Yeah.
Yeah. Mom, I personally believe that mobile phones should not be allowed in schools because if we see there's a whole different world of social media out there. And also the apps are designed in such a way that students may get addicted to them, right? And we've seen in COVID-19 pandemic, we've seen both online as well as offline school. So we know that offline school is much preferable because there's a bonding between the teacher and the student. And if we're allowing the mobile phones in the school, so that bonding is minimal because students will tend to engage themselves on social media platforms or the app or discussing something on the mobile phones instead of trying to build the bond between them. And also, I believe India is a very culture oriented country. Before all this invention as well of mobile phones, students were supposed to go to the gurukuls. Even the royal kids were supposed to leave their kingdom, all their comfort and everything, just to get educated. It was because they wanted them to focus and learn new things without any sort of distraction, so that it would help them develop a personality and will help them to understand how the world works and not just how the cell phones work. And so, of course, the cell phones are a sort of distraction as well because um, there is a constant ringing, the alerts, the notification that we get on our cell phones, which will not only distract the student but also the whole class. So you see, the notifications, the constant ringing will cause a lot of distraction. So cell phones can cause a major distraction, and it will not only lead to physical health issue because students will tend not to engage themselves in physical activities or extracurricular activities, which can lead to physical issue. And also, when we talk about physical issue, next point that comes up is mental health issue. When
I
we say
agree,
mental health issue,
Vanshika. I agree, Vanshika, but I would request you to, switch on your video only, then only speak because it's an, online video platform and you're just
ma'am,
switching it
my
off.
camera, my video is on.
No, no, no,
I
it's
hope you can
not. It
see
it
me.
goes, it goes.
Is it on? Like,
Yes,
can you see
yes.
me now? Right. So you see, whenever you talk about cell phones, it can cause a major sort of distraction as well. That is why I would say that it should not be allowed. And of course, our forefathers have thought that the sole purpose of sending their children to school is to learn, to develop, and not use the cell phones during the class. So I believe that cell phones should not be allowed in the class. And when I was talking about mental health issues, so the first point that comes up is bullying and the unhealthy financial competition that would be created because, of course, there is a sense of competition among the students, like which brand of cell phone are you using and what type of apps you're using, how is your social media platform bio and everything. So I guess that is one thing that can lead to mental health issues and severely depression as well. So I believe cell phone should not be allowed. I stand by the decision of our forefathers completely. So I believe it should not be allowed.
Thank you, Vanchika. Do we have anybody else who would like to contradict or
Yes,
probably?
ma'am.
Yes, actually, I would love
Yes,
to. I
ma'am.
would be honored to contradict this because you see, you have very, very good points. I have to admit that. But we're in the 21st century. Things have changed. You can't give reasons about forefathers and things that used to work that time. The world has changed. Let's change with it. Cell phones, okay, understandable. They're distractions. But they should be allowed at some extent. There should be limits. They should be
Okay,
allowed, but with limits. And to answer, what was the other point you were saying regarding, yeah, mental illness?
right.
Bullying will happen even offline. There's It's known. It will happen even offline. It's not like bullying is only online. Bullying will happen offline, and
Okay.
depression that
So can
happens
I?
even if you don't have that.
Okay. Okay. Just to say that the forefather point, I guess you took it in a wrong way. What I was trying to say is that In earlier time as well, when there were facilities, they used to leave it. They used to leave it just because they wanted to learn their, uh, get their education properly without any distractions, without any facilities. They wanted them to, connect with people. That was my point. And when you say about offline bullying, the bullying that I am talking about here is the unhealthy financial competition that would be created. I'm sure if you'll allow cell phones in a class, see, when you say it should be allowed to some limit, I believe, see, the discussion is about cell phones particularly. If there's some emergency or something else, so you can, contact the reception or anything. And if you are saying that notes and everything, see, student life should be disciplined, shouldn't it be? And the change that you're talking about, change should be gradual. We have computers and other gadgets as well. So I don't think there's such a problem. And cell phones are such a big, asset that the students should have them with them. I don't think so. And
Okay, so you're talking about the financial
Okay.
inequalities. Oh, yeah, you will go ahead.
Yes, I would also like to say that when you are saying that students' life should be disciplined or there can be distraction, the thing which can teachers can do is that the students can put their cell phones on silent and can submit to their teacher at that time. It will be helpful. As he was saying that in 21st century we have to gradually grow with the technology, and I agree to that. That we are living in 21st century, and I would like to say that. In which area there is no distraction or there is no negative side. Every area has some negative side, some distraction, some bad effects, and there can be good effects in every area. So I would like to say that cell phone is an important part in school. Should school should allow that, because even during lectures and after that, when we have any doubt, we particularly forgot about that after going to home. Then in school we can do that after lectures we could gradually take our phone and search about the things in which we have doubt and reach the teachers at that time only, and we can get our doubt clear. In this way the cell phone can help us. And the mental illness, the students are using their phones in their home also. They are in if not in school, they are using that in home, and they are going through bullying or mental depression. That so we should allow that cell phone in school. The main point is that in school we have to allow cell phones. The cell phone is not banned everywhere. We are using it at home, then why not we can use it at school?
okay, to this I would like to say, see, Anushka, there is a constant education issue as well. You see, the school is just for 6 to 8 hours, and spending 6 to 8 hours without your cell phone, I don't think it's much of a big deal. I don't think it's that a big deal. Everything, I agree to your point that everything has its own pros and its cons, right? If you think about the pros, the disadvantages and advantages, it will be a long debate. And I agree to that. But when I say that it should not be allowed, it's because of some 4 to 5 points that I completely believe that it should not be allowed. See, when I talk about mental health issue, it is that there are every type of people, there are every kind of people from every places that are in your school, right? It can be they're using an iPhone, maybe they're using Vivo, or maybe they're using a keypad phone, right? See, sometimes what happens is it would lead to an unhealthy financial competition, which would finally lead to inferiority complex. And students will tend not to open their phones and everything. And also, when I say about this, there's the social media that we're talking about, the distraction that we're saying. Cell phones are a distraction. I myself am a student, and see, it is scientifically proven that if you're using your cell phone, your sleep schedule gets affected. This is scientifically proven. And second thing that you do is students are not able to focus as much. You see, they'll check again and again their phones. And when you say that you can submit it to the teachers, what is the use of bringing the cell phones then? If you are submitting your phones to a teacher, listen to me, if you're submitting your phones to a teacher, what is the point of bringing them, right? And even if you're not submitting, if you're keeping it on silent, what happens sometimes, maybe I'm a human, I can do a mistake, maybe my phone's not on silent, and the constant ringing, the notifications, it will break the flow of their teaching. It will not only disturb me, the teacher, but the entire class. You see, I'm not saying that cell phones should not be allowed at all. If there's some emergency, if there's some special case, of course you can give the application to the school. You can bring it, you can submit it. If you want, you can take it. But if you see that, if you say that you'll Google it in the class, students can use it for cheating as well. Sometimes what happens is, see, I'm a 12th class student, I know it. I've seen my juniors, I've been through that phase. Sometimes what happens is students forget that the sole purpose is to learn and not to attain good marks, right? And already there's a big competition, right? Due to that competition, they'll feel like it's better to get good marks instead of learning new things. You getting me? That is why what will happen, they'll lead to cheating. And even if they're honest with their work, the distraction point, you cannot ignore it, right? You cannot ignore the competition that will be created. You cannot ignore their physical fitness. Maybe they'll not engage in physical activities at all. Some of us, even I'm a science student, sometimes what happens is I do not go in PE periods or like any physical activity at all. I tend not to engage myself. I tend to study, right? Even at home, I don't have this much time that I go and engage myself into physical activities. So if you'll allow cell phones in school as well, what will happen? They'll tend to be stuck in their phones and just surfing and browsing the internet, and they'll not tend to engage themselves into physical activities, which will lead to physical health problems, mental health problems, distraction, and everything. So that is why I believe. See, the main reason that you were saying that cell phone should be allowed, it's 21st century. I agree. Tablets can be allowed. You can bring tablets to school. The purpose, the discussion that we're having here is about cell phones only. It's not about any other electronic gadget. If you're saying that you can Google it, you can do something, tablets can be arranged. Even in America, there are many countries in which they have online mode, in which they have tablets set up on their desk. So they can keep tablets instead of bringing cell phones, right? School can arrange the tablets. You have computer lab in your school, I'm sure. So you have computers, right? It's not as if, oh, your computer is better than mine. It's not like that. Everyone has a uniform computer, right? If you want something like that, tablets can be arranged. Not cell phones. It's not necessary that you need to bring cell phones, because cell phones will have social media platforms. You cannot ignore the social media life, right?
All right,
I
Vanshika,
would
I
like to
could
say
agree to
Okay,
the
that you are
fact.
I have a
saying
few points to add.
that I have to say that you are saying that tablets can be arranged, but when it was cell phones, we have to contact our parents. We cannot contact that through tablet. And not every school was financially so big that they can arrange tablets, computers, and everything like America or like West countries. And that you are saying that
When
the
you say that
students are
it's
getting
21st century,
distracted.
see, change is
Don't
gradual.
5 seconds, please. I'm saying that you are saying that the children are getting distracted. I would like to say that when you are studying at home, are you not distracting? Are you not using your social media? Are you not always on your phone? You are. Then when there is lockdown or when there was going online classes, I know that you were also scrolling social media during the online classes. It was a fact. And during lectures, as I say that we can submit our phones to the teachers, it means that the teacher should come and ask the students to make their phone silent. It was not your human tendency to make your phone that you forgot. It was your it was your mistake that you did not silent your phone. The teacher have asked you to silent that. So it depends upon student to student. As you are saying that you are science student or you don't go physical to physical education, you are only studying. I am a humanities student, and I also don't go to physical education classes, and I used to study at my class. But when I am getting any difficulties during my studies, I can't go to that teacher, that subject teacher, because she or he is getting his own classes during that time. So the cell phone is important because we need to search through, or there can be any emergency that I have to contact my parents, as I also opted Hindi as my optional subject. Then many times I have to stay after school. So I need to inform my parents about that, and it is always not possible to go to reception and call there or go to teachers about them, because there are many students, and how many students will go line by line to make their parents aware of that. It will create a hurdle for teacher and difficulties for at reception and at teachers both.
Okay, when you say that you know that I've been scrolling my social media, how come you know? You don't know, right? First point is that. Second point, when you say that you were distracted when there were online classes, right? You yourself are agreeing to that point that students were scrolling their social media platforms when there were classes going on, right? You yourself agreed to that point that students are scrolling their social media platforms while the class is going on. It's a distraction. And when you say that it's not possible for everyone to go to the reception every time, there are a whole lot of students. See, the school is responsible enough to inform the parents, right? They cannot keep in 45 students in the school for stay back just because they wanted some extra classes. They'll inform you. They'll inform you a day prior. They'll inform your parents. And if there's any emergency, see, right now also we're going to school. Right now there's also offline mode. We can inform the teacher, ma'am, I want to stay back. I want to complete this task. So kindly inform my parents. And why is it not possible to go to the reception? Why is the reception? What is the use of reception then? If you cannot contact your parents in the case of emergency, and emergency is not always, right? You will not have a month is of 31 days. So you will not have emergency for 30 days, right? It can be once a month, twice a month. It will not be always that you're having an emergency. You can talk to your parents using reception.
I would also like to
Okay,
say
I've
that
been
when
making
your
notes.
parents are
I would
working,
also.
then they have to contact you that when
Yes, Araina.
either they are going to
I would
hospital.
request. Yes, I would request somebody who's not spoken for a long time. Araina, you want to say something?
Yes, ma'am. I would also like to add my views to it. I feel that the focus of smartphone use in the classroom should move from whether they should be used to how they should be utilized. Like ground rules, setting ground rules for cell phone in the classroom, as well as a clear reprimand for what happens if they are used inappropriately, is very beneficial. And I would like to repeat a quote that is ati sarvatra varjyate, meaning excess of anything is bad, but just enough might be ideal for learning in new ways.
Okay, now as I said, I've been making notes, and first of all, mental. You said the discrimination, financial discrimination. Think about this: you're friends with someone else. You go out in school only. For example, you make a plan. You go out for lunch or anything. There, you might see the other guy wearing fancier shoes, wearing fancier clothes. Over there, also discrimination can happen, and not only because of phones, right? And wait, let me complete. Please let me complete.
Okay.
Uh, you said something about, if I'm not wrong, you said something about it being a distraction. I'm pretty sure, like, about India has a lot of schools, at least like a minority of them. However, they do allow phones in school. If they can manage, why can't we? It's as simple as that. You say schools are responsible enough to tell parents. Schools can be responsible enough to manage students having phones. It is really not that big a deal.
Look, I'll add to this. This thing is, I used to be in an IB school, so for 2 years, so I was carrying my phone, laptop, and we were using no notebooks or any sort of paper at all. So over there, sure, the first month we may be scrolling through social media while studying and stuff like that was happening. But after a time in school, you would be like, I can't use it. I can't use the phone right now. I'll study and then later on I'll use it. It's
Yeah,
just a matter of a few days.
the school itself, the students adapt to that kind of scenario. It's really not that big a deal to have phones. Okay, maybe the start may be rough. Maybe teachers may have a problem controlling students, but only for a small period of time. It is a change that is beneficial in the long term, and we have to think about the long term.
See, Harshit, when you say it's about long term, why can't you have tablets? Why is it so essential to have cell phones which have social media platforms? See, what is the difference between a tablet and
Social media is
cell
not
phone?
always bad. Social media can teach you a lot. It can teach
I
you
agree.
a
I
lot.
myself am a social media user, but it cannot always teach you, right? It is a distraction and you cannot ignore that. Okay,
Why are you
if I
thinking
was,
negative? You should always be optimistic.
see, when you take such a big decision about schools, when you say that you can allow cell phones being allowed in school, so you have to think about both things, right? The pros and the cons as well. You cannot always say, why are you thinking negative? You have to think about the negative and the flip side as well, right?
Okay, so yeah, what was I saying?
So yeah, you
Okay,
agree to
yeah.
me?
No, I don't agree
Okay.
to you, please. No offense, but you say it's a distraction. I agree. It's a distraction. I completely agree. Right.
Okay.
Uh, God, I forgot what I was saying. Sorry.
No worries, Harshit. While you remember, I would like, people who haven't spoken even once, Satyam, would you like to say something?
Yes, ma'am. Using social media, can keep students interested in the class and encourage them to participate in the discussion. Some teachers create Twitter hashtags on message boards students can use during the class discussion to share their thoughts and ideas. This can especially helpful for the students who might not be comfortable to speaking in the class.
All right, Satyam, thank you for putting across your thought. Do we have Himanshu? Himanshu, would you like to add something? All right, maybe he's not here. Navya, do we have Navya? Would you like to add something to whatever we are discussing?
Oh, yes, ma'am, I would like to add something. I would say that I, I would say that phones should be allowed, but they should be in a controlled way. I would not totally say that should be banned or they should be used in the classes. This should be used in a very controllable way because, as my partner Vanshika said, they are a very big distraction to. They are a very big distraction while we are in the class and and we can talk about cyberbullying here, and I know people would contradict saying that cyberbullying takes place when we are at home and so many things, and offline bullying is also also taking place at so many places. But while we talk about cyberbullying in the school premises, it is more unidentifiable, and that too within the school grounds. We all are on social media. I would say like 90% of us are on social media, and to identify a person on social media sending threats, doing ragging online is much easier than doing it in the school while teachers are around us and while teachers are around us, and we know that a teacher is approachable to go to them and tell them that this child is doing bad things to me. A very recent case of cyberbullying happened in a school in Delhi. A child was blackmailed based on their private pictures they took in the school premises, and that child was bullied for so long that the child was about to commit suicide. But before some actions were taken so that the child was safe in the law. But my point right here is that if we allow phones in school, we should be at least concerned to some extent that like my main point would be about bullying, because I have been bullied in the offline school as well as my friends have underwent cyberbullying, and I read about 3 or 4 cases which took place in Delhi itself about clicking pictures of children in school, and then they were bullied based upon that. So I would say that you should keep in mind while you allow such things.
All right, so who else would like to speak next?
I've seen this happen in many schools in my city as well. There's something called profiling a device. You basically the school programs the device in such a way that it is impossible to download them. Social media platforms. Why don't we do that with schools with phones? That's really it's a simple solution. Profile the devices, all of them, even if they're phones or something else.
Look, another simple solution for this is to just keep your profile private. Like at this age, we don't even have to basically keep it public because it's not necessary.
Okay, can I say something, ma'am?
Yes, Vanshika.
Ma'am, I guess the simple solution is why to bring them in the school. It's just 6 to 8 hours without your phone. Just 6 to 8 hours without social media. And when you say that you can, download those profiling apps or software or whatever you were saying, which will not allow any social media platform on your phone, you think that every student will be comfortable in deleting their social media from their phones? It's just one phone,
You
right?
think parents will? You think parents will even like?
Harshit, 1 second. See, we all are teenagers. We all have our social media life. We all have social media platforms, Instagram, Snapchat. You think if I'm bringing my phone to school, of course I'll not, be in the favor of using social media in school. But you think I have only one cell phone and I'll be deleting social media from it? If you think that yes, you can delete it, there's no issue, why do you need social media? Then I don't understand, why can't we just simply install tablets? Why can't we just buy tablets
Because right now the discussion is regarding
Ma'am, I
phones,
would like
not
to add
tablets and
something.
alternatives.
Exactly. My point is that you cannot bring phone. My simple point is that phone should not be allowed. Instead of phones, my solution is you can bring tablets. That's it.
Ma'am, I
The
would like
entire point you're making is on the basis that you're just saying
All right, all
you're
right.
just
Let's
making
just
your entire, yeah,
let's just
sorry.
hear Anjali. She's been trying to say from for a very long time. Yes, Anjali, would you like to say something? Anjali, Himanshu, would you like to say something?
Ma'am, I would like to say something.
Yes, Anjali, tell me.
Yes, ma'am, I'm Anjali Sharma from APS Academy. Ma'am, uh, I believe that youngsters nowadays are really immersed into social medias like Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook. On Instagram, they post reels. On Twitter, they do tweets. And if you are allowing them to bring them to school, the mobiles to school, then don't you think that they will be curious about how the audience will react to what they are posting? And many of them are saying that we should keep it silent and submit it to the teacher. So can we be concentrated on the class when we our mind is on that particular thing, like what we are posting and what the audience is reacting to it? No, we can't be concentrated on our class because we are curious about that particular thing that we are posting and how the audience will react. And when we are using mobile phones, um, why do we go to school? We go to school not only to study, but to increase our physical, mental, and social skills. And if we are using mobiles, then many of us would like to make online friends. And if we are making online friends, then how can we be social? We will stop being social. And about the mental skills, I would like to say, um, we would like to clear our doubts using Chrome, right? So where are we using our thinking skills? Our thinking skills would be vanished. And about the physical strength, about the physical fitness. If children like to play outdoor games, right? But nowadays, PUBG and Free Fire are really popular. They want to check their ranks. They want to check their ranks, and they are curious about those things. And my first point that they can't be concentrated on the class, even if we will submit our mobile phones, because our mind is fixed on the particular thing. So I don't think that we should allow bringing mobiles to school.
Okay, so I would like to say that when you are saying that they can't concentrate, they are always key what was happening, what was the audience reaction. That when either we are not taking our cell phones in school, or either we are keeping it at home, the child or that particular student will always be curious about what the audience was doing at about talking about their thing, because the post which he or she has put was there, if he or she was at school or whether he or she at home. So they will be curious and they will be distracted every time. And as you are saying that social skills will not increase, I would like to say that through online chatting or through online making friends, I have made my social skills some more better, because when we talk, like me, I was an open-minded girl and I could socialize either offline or online. But through online, I got better options or better skills to talk, or I can better open my mind about through chatting. So I would like to say that through online making online friends, we can also socialize us. And about the physical fitness, it totally depends upon the student whether he or she want to play, whether he she want to exercise or not. And you are talking about ki we can our thinking skills would be gradual slow down. uh, I would like to say that when you search something, you become you first of all are curious about that what is the meaning of this and what is the use of that, and after that you search for this thing, then your thinking skill is getting higher. And many exams, UPSC or AIMS or NEET, we like me, I am prepared, I want to clear UPSC. I don't get any help from my side, because there was no one who is preparing for UPSC or had clear UPSC. So the online thing is the only medium with which I can search that. And during school hours, many time I forgot that what thing I have to ask, or many of my important notes or important documents were on my phone, which I'm not able to clear my doubt. That when we will bring our cell phones to our school, then I can easily clear my doubt through teachers by showing her the document or the notes which I have made on my phones. Because mostly in today's time we not we make through YouTube or on documentation or MX World and anything that. And uh, like Vanshika is saying about the tablet, uh, tablet is, yes, we can use that at the schools also, but the main thing is that can we contact our parents through tablets? No, we can't contact them after school. That she was saying that it was the responsibility of school to make the parents aware about that. Many times we were we who told our teacher ki ma'am please take today's class at after school, or ma'am please take it after it was only depend on us, and we cannot always make our school or our teachers ki ma'am please contact to our parents or anything else. Even my friends, I take my phone to school, even my friends say ki Anushka please contact my parents, I would like to say that I have to attend Hindi class or any extra classes. So it make our interaction with our parents much easier to take cell phones to schools.
Yes, your point is right, but not every student is like you. Everyone has their own thinking skills. You are taking it in a positive way. You are using. You were saying that we are chatting. That you are chatting and you are increasing your social skills. But do you think that every student is like this? Many of the students, like many of the youngsters, chat very confidently, but when it is the time to speak in front of others, they lack self confidence. They lack it. They became
Yes.
nervous. And you were saying, and you were saying that you can use your mobile to prepare for your exams like UPSC and. But we are talking about school hours. On school hours, we should only focus on what our particular teacher is teaching. And if you are curious about that particular thing, like how can you focus on what the teacher is teaching? It's about school hours, not about
Yes. Yes, during school hours, I have also added that when I have doubt about that particular document or any notes, then I can't clear that notes or that particular doubt from our teacher. Even when we forget our some important extra books or some help book, we can search through the Google and can take a doubt cleared through teachers. And as you are saying, they are lacking self confidence. My younger brother is also very silent, or he lacks self confidence. He does not even he cannot speak to their his or her teachers very confidently, or mm, uh, okay. So when he texts to that particular teacher through WhatsApp or any other media, he can easily put his points to the teachers. Then teacher got to know that yes, he is the one who is intelligent or interested in that particular thing. So I think that during school hours it is important, because the teacher or the student both get helps through cell phones. In many schools, as my mother is a teacher, cell phones are not allowed even to the teacher to take that to the class. Then there are many things about teacher also get confused or have doubt. Then
like as you said,
that your mother is also a teacher. My mother is also a teacher, and in our school too, cell phones are not allowed. No, cell phones are not allowed to let them carried by teachers. Teachers can't carry cell phone to the class, and so at particular times you said that we can clear our doubts, right? We can clear our doubts with teachers too. What are teachers for? They are well educated, so we should ask them.
No,
Right.
that was wrong. We can't clear every doubt with our teachers because even teachers are human beings. They were not aware about everything.
All
See,
right,
you
so
say
I
that
would I would like to say that we have a very less time left. So somebody who's not spoken as of now has the chance to speak, and we will be just winding up all of it. So anybody who would like to speak, who hasn't spoken for a moment now, has a time now. Is there anybody who wants to add on to something? Himanshu, would you like to add on to something?
I would like to add a point. Like you said, like we can forget carrying a soft copy, like carrying it on a cell phone. Then we can clear all our doubts. I think that can happen in home also. Like you can carry a hard copy of it to the school, and also school provide you with computer labs and stuff.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, that's what I'm saying. You can
Yes,
Exactly, that's
particularly clear
my
your
point.
doubts when you are going to your home, not when you are studying, not during your school hours. You can clear that doubt when you are home.
And I think like
um,
a break from mobile, like 6 to 8 hours that we get in school is like a nice break that we get for like from our social media, from our phones and everything like that. We put that aside and we live our life. Like school life doesn't happen always,
Yes,
right?
ma'am. Yes.
uh,
That's
okay,
what I was
that you are
Pretty much
saying that
lost 2 years of
we
school
can
life.
go to computer lab for clearing our doubts. Then you can think that when you are taking your any class, then when you have doubt or even the teacher has some doubt about that, you can go to the computer lab and the computer lab is free for you.
I
There
would
will
just
be no
like
going
to add,
computer
like, if you are
classes or any other thing about there. And as she was saying that we can get our doubt clear at home, we always tend to forget about things when we go from school to home or home to school. There is every possible things that we interact with
Simple solution to
our
that
fellow
is maintaining a
friends.
to-do list or something like that, which you can keep with yourself
Exactly.
to keep reminding yourself.
exactly, you should
Uh,
Making
keep
a
a
to-do
to-do
list
list,
and
and
doing it is
when
very different. Making a to-do
yes.
list and actually having the mentality or having the discipline to do it is it's a completely different thing.
And
But
I
that
think
is at individual level. Like you don't always need to carry a cell phone to remind you everything, right?
So the
No,
point
we
over
are
here is
not
not using
taking.
cell phones. The point over here is not using cell phones for taking a to-do list or regarding your point about social media. Cell phones is not completely social media. There are other uses to cell phones. Research, extra co-curriculars, clubs. There is so much to do on cell phones. It's not just social media distraction. There is so much else to do.
Which can happen
Yes, yes, that can happen at home too.
Exactly. When
We
you say
should
that you are
rest
developing
our
a
eyes
social
too.
life, so I guess you can develop it at home as well.
Other schools
It's
also
school is the
also
time.
allow phones.
Harshit,
It's
school
just
is
not
the
our
time
school
when
that
you
allows
interact with
phones.
others and not just, be on your phones. Or even if you want to clear some doubts, why can't you just go to the teacher?
It's not
Teacher
just
is
about
here to
doubts.
clear your doubts.
I'll ask you one thing. Whatever city you may be in, there may be schools that allow phones. There may be schools like Arnav, his old school had allowed phones. There are schools that allow phones, and that the students over there have amazing social life. If they can, why can't we? It is as simple as that. If they can, why can't
See,
we? Are we
Arnav
lacking
said
some
that
social
for
skills?
1 month
Are we
he
lacking
was.
some power or something? If they can, why can't we? It's as simple as that.
See, we can do anything. And when you say about Arnav he himself said that for the first month he was on his phone, and then he
Long
realized,
term,
and
it's
then
all
he
in the long
realized,
term.
Harshit, what do you want? Like you want for the students to realize, oh, it's about time that I should study and should keep my phone aside. It cannot happen.
The
And if when you
mentality
talk
will
about
create
social life,
itself.
1 second, Harshit, let me complete at least. Thank you. And when you say about social life, it can be when you are at home. You have your phones at your home. In school, you have a time to interact with people. As Anjali said, that there are many people who chat very confidently, but when it's time to have a conversation face to face, physically, they're hesitant. They're not able to speak as much as they would have on their phones, on the chats.
So
So
what's the
it
problem
is
with that?
just to
It's just
develop
social
a
anxiety. Everyone has
personality.
it.
It is just to develop a personality.
Right. We should
The problem
at
with that,
least
it's
we
just
should
social
stick to
anxiety.
it and break to
Exactly.
our
Like social
eyes.
anxiety is very, very
We
common.
can
It's not
use
even if you
what
don't
are
have a
our
phone, you
gifts
can have social
for.
anxiety.
We
Even if
should
you don't
give
have a
that
phone,
to
even if
our
you're
lives
completely
too.
excluded from social media, you
They
can have
need
social
us.
anxiety. It's very
And
common.
even if you don't have your phone in school, you can study.
I never said no about studying, okay? But there are other uses to phones. There is something called extracurricular activities. MUN.
Okay, what
Research.
extra activity will
Competitions
you
like
do
We can
this.
on
do that
This
phones?
group discussion
extracurricular
can be used
activities in our
using
phones
phones.
What
too. Why only school hours?
exactly? What will you do on phones that you cannot do in physical school?
What are schools for? To
Exactly.
increase
What
our
are teachers for? If you are saying that you
mental
can,
and social
clear your
skills.
doubt at moment in the school when you are having a doubt. So there's a class going on, you suddenly have a doubt, the teacher doesn't know it, you'll open your phone and you'll search the Google. I mean, that
The
doesn't
teacher
make
will
sense.
get back to the doubt anyway. Teachers are there for us only.
Exactly. Teacher will get back to the doubt anyway. Teachers are there to clear our doubts. Why are they there in the school if they cannot clear our doubts? Just go to the principal and tell her, ma'am, the teacher is herself confused and she cannot clear her doubts. Your teacher will be changed. I'm sure if she able to clear your doubts, then the teacher is not well enough. And when you say that she's a human, she gets confused. So we are humans as well. I may forget to put my phone on silent. And when you say that it's about responsibility, I don't think, see, humans can do mistake, right? The flow of teaching will break anyway, and you cannot just ignore the fact that yes, phones are a major distraction. Okay, whenever you score less marks, what does your mother say? Keep your phone aside, focus hard on studying, because everyone consider it as a distraction. And when you say they can do it, so why can't we? It is not about that. They can do it because the cell phones are allowed there. There's a special discipline. You cannot just allow cell phones in the class, allow distraction in the class, and just do it. I don't think it's right.
That's a completely
Uh,
irrelevant point. Just because they have special rules, there is no special rules. They just allow it. They just allow it. There's no special rules. Every teacher has a different way of tackling such problems, but they tackle it and it works. The system works. That's an entire point. The system works. The system can work even if we have phones in class. Social life, even if you have phones, if you don't have phones, it can be done. Because anyway, it's not like people just they prefer online over offline. If you want to meet your friends, you'll go meet your friends. No, you'll not be like, let's just chat with our friends. If you can, you will. That's the entire. If you want to go meet your friends, if you have the availability, if you are available, you go. But it's
Not
not. You
everyone
only
can meet
have to
their friends
resort to
always.
social
If
media
I want to meet
when
my
you
friend right
can't
now, I'll
do
not
it
be able to
physically.
go.
I'm sorry. What?
All right, so we have a lot of discussion. We have a lot of pros and cons, and everybody wants to put across whatever they're saying is right. So what I have come to a conclusion is for a fact that people say that you have a cyberbullying. What will you do if you have an emergency to contact your parents? Google search, health issues, social media, reels, economic standards, thinking skills, physical activities, co-curriculars, face-to-face confidence. So I mean, what I can understand from one perspective is, see, having a phone, having a cell phone in school is one place. Having all these other factors is on another, place. So
Exactly.
you have to understand for a fact ki why are we asking cell phones are important in school, or do we allow cell phones in schools? So there are certain aspects that you have to search and you have to understand. So just to clear certain things, Google search doesn't happen right away. When you're in the middle of the class, you won't just go back to your Google and ask whether this teacher is right or whether this teacher is wrong. You can't do that. Whenever you have competitions. What we have in schools is, whenever you have competitions, you are given a n number of days or amount of time to prepare yourself. You don't have something impromptu that is being given to you. And even if it's been given to you, it's based on the subjects, or based on the activities that is already happening in schools. If you talk about co-curriculars, I must say that, you know schools are filled with co-curricular activities, and you just don't have to go back to your cell phones in order to do that. Social media, everybody is so addicted to social media that end of the day you are just keep on coming back to social media when it comes to using cell phones. Cell phones is not just restricted to social media, it is way beyond that. Cyberbullying can happen whether you are on social media, whether you are physically taking your phone to the schools or not. It just happens anyway. You have to understand, you have to manage how to handle it carefully, and how to not be a victim of it. It doesn't start from just being a mobile user. You just have to understand how do you stop bullying in the school itself. Like this, one of the girls said that I was bullied online as well as offline. So you have to understand and stand up for a fact that bullying is happening, which is wrong. You are taking it offline, you are taking it online. You are the one who's to stop it at the very first end, not just to let it continue just because you won't be able to speak up. It doesn't happen online or offline. All right. So, and one more thing, thinking skills. Yes, ma'am, if you're here with us, I would like to say that you will also agree that yes, definitely thinking skills do hamper when we use a lot of phones. It's not just
Yes,
that you
Exactly.
yeah, so it's not just that you have to yes, your thinking skills do hamper because you're not even thinking creatively by your own means. It's
And
just
it is
that you're so
scientifically
addicted
proven
to
as
Google.
well.
Sorry.
It is proven as well that yes, it happens, and also that our mind have different schemas which work accordingly. If we train our mind with different activities, it will work accordingly. If you're just googling it, if you're just seeing the solution, so our thinking skills will hamper, and it's obvious. It's a mere fact. I don't think cell phones should be allowed.
No, no, it's
I
not about
mean,
I'm just clearing the fact, Vanshika. I'm not here to
yes,
conclude the solution. I'm here to just put across certain things that you guys are really confused
right.
about. So, if you talk about emergencies, emergencies can happen anywhere. If you have to inform your school, your parents, do it prior coming to school. You have a schedule in mind. You have to have certain things in mind in order to understand what is happening in your life and how do you want to plan it. So even if you have extra classes, your parents will obviously know that you have certain extra classes and you might get late. Keep your cell phones with you. There's no going back to the fact that you cannot ever have cell phones. You can have cell phones. There's no saying no to it, but handling it in a way, because we are talking about masses, we are not talking about just one particular viewpoint. We're not just talking about a percent of the society that we cater to. We're talking about students in large, who are you have multiple mindsets, multiple level of concentration, focus, distraction level. So you cannot just conclude for a fact based on one opinion or a percent of opinion of the entire population that we have. And yes, if people can talk a lot and speak a lot when they are offline, and when they don't have the audacity to speak one to one, wherein school activities teach you a lot of exposure, give you a lot of exposure, so you can have it a balance of having both of it in both the hands. Ma'am, if you're there with us, would you like to add on something?
It was good to hear. Thank you, Entab, for organizing and spelling out the mind of the young ones. And it was a wonderful opportunity to listen to these young ones. Generally, they listen to us. And I'm happy that they have the not one way thinking, they are also thinking in other way of the table. But beside this, I just want to add, anything which is to be launched on public platform has to be properly introduced. What should be the standard of procedure, and what are the precautions to be taken care of, because prevention is better than precaution. So these young ones, ultimately they are our future. So what should be the proper draft line on usage of these devices. I do not deny that this is the call of the hour, that devices are required in form of cell phone, laptop, tabs in any form, and they can carry anywhere. But same time, what are the etiquettes, net etiquettes to use it, also to be mandatory. The way we have a behavior etiquettes inside the school and while dealing with the public or dealing with the peer group, junior, senior, or with the teacher, same way net etiquettes are equally important to be taught, not by the school but also by the teachers, the senior ones to their junior ones. Hand holding is required, and in that way I'm sure in coming years it will develop a healthy way of using devices. And same time I'm looking forward the most advantageous way of paperless books and copies for going through. So I'm sure the addiction of usage will reduce gradually, and there will be a healthy usage of all these devices in constructive way.
Thank you so much, ma'am, for putting across your thoughts. So, this is all for today's session. We will be announcing the results soon. Thank you so much for everybody for having come here and putting across your views and thought process, and just coming and discussing what exactly do you feel, how do you feel about something. We will be coming up with more new sessions, and for more information, do click on our notification button and subscribe to our channel. I'll see you later. Thank you so much, everyone.